Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Lenovo Legion Slim 5 for 2023. Now this is a 16-inch gaming laptop, but yet thin and light when compared to the traditional Legion 5, and it still has solid specifications. In full disclosure, this was furnished to me by Lenovo for review purposes, and I'll include a link in the description for those of you interested in purchasing one. It is presently available, this exact configuration, from Best Buy for $1,530 US. It isn't on sale. And in terms of specifications, this is an AMD-driven machine. We have a Ryzen 7 7840HS with 16 gigs of RAM, an NVIDIA RTX 4060 that has 6 gigs of 8 gigs of VRAM, a ½ terabyte Gen 4 NVMe SSD, and of course a 16-inch 2560 by 1600 resolution display with a 165 hertz refresh rate. And I'll get into the I/O and everything once we get this out of the box. Now, trying to clear the camera there, this has already been opened by someone else. After all, it is a review unit. That is the nature of how this works. I continue to say that as I unbox these Lenovo machines, simply because, as I've stated before, some of you think that I've actually unboxed this previously. Now, this one, interestingly enough, doesn't even have a retail box. So I'm glad that I stated that, because this is really coming out rough. Not sure how they lost it, but there's the power brick, and that's pretty much everything. So let's take a look at what we're working with. And really, this is, as I stated before, an alternative to going with the traditional Legion lineup. First things first, the power brick here is a 230 watt proprietary Lenovo power brick. Not surprised, you're going to need that power to drive this gaming experience. And let's get to the machine itself. And the beauty, as I keep mentioning, is that you're getting a machine that has, I would say, solid gaming chops with that 4060 and 8 gigs of VRAM, and a nice high refresh IPS panel. Not mini LED, but at this price point, you certainly wouldn't expect anything of the sort. So let's just go over the I/O quickly. You can see we've got a full-size SD card slot. I love that. A privacy switch for the webcam. On the back of the machine is where really all the action when it comes to I/O resides. We've got 2 Type A USB ports, an Ethernet port, HDMI 2.1 out, and then the power port for that 230 watt brick. And then on the left side of the machine, you've got your Thunderbolt 4 port, as well as a Type-C port that supports 140 watt power delivery. And then last but certainly not least, your headphone microphone combo jack. And that pretty much covers everything when it comes to I/O. We still have our different indicators for the port array selection there on the back, a little bit of a lip on the front, and that's pretty much it. This does, I would say, follow the Legion design language that's present here in 2023, which is a good thing. In fact, the Legion lineup right now is my favorite gaming lineup in the entire marketplace. I mean, they really have done an excellent job this year with performance to price as well as design. That's something most manufacturers just simply do not get right. And there is also a Legion Slim 7. I'm hoping to get that in. It's been out for a while. It's spec'd up to a 4070. Really impressive stuff there as well. So we've got a matte display. I know you can't see it perfectly here because of, obviously, the viewing angle. Let me go ahead and see if I can power this on. And what do you know? It's already set to performance mode. I'm not surprised. Let me get the power brick and everything out of the way so we can take a proper look at this. And again, at this price point, I expect this to perform fairly well. After all, you're talking about a 4060 with what should be decent power, decent TGP. I'm not exactly sure on that, but of course in my full review we'll get there. And build quality is in line with what you should expect from Lenovo in their Legion lineup of machines. So really, good stuff all around is what I'm anticipating from this particular machine. But meanwhile, the display is not coming on, in spite of the fact that, I was hopeful that we're going to see something good here out of it. So not sure what's going on with that at present. Hopefully we don't have a dud that somehow does not function. I mean, this is a little concerning, but, hopefully it will power on. I don't know if I should do a hard boot here because, of course, it is not normal that nothing is posting, but I'll just try Control-Alt-Delete, see if anything happens. I haven't seen anything happen on the mat panel here, which makes me wonder. Let me go ahead and do a hard boot and see if anything happens on display, because we should have seen a Lenovo logo at the very least by now. Backlighting has come on. I hear the fans kick on. Power is definitely flowing. Now we've got the Legion branding, so now we should be in business. Whatever happened on that first boot was a little bit of a fluke. Don't stress about it. I'm certainly not. So we have a numerical keypad, which is definitely a good thing. We also have Lenovo's typical key travel on this, which I think is pretty good. Maybe not as good key travel as what I just saw recently in the Slim Pro 9i, but still, I find that Lenovo, they really are, in my opinion, the best when it comes to overall keyboard performance. 5 megapixel camera up at the top. It is not IR. I mean, this is part of it being the Series 5 of the Legion, is that this is the more affordable route. So you're not going to get all of the same bells and whistles you would get from higher spec machines, but still, I anticipate, at least standard, decent quality out of that webcam. Now, the 16-inch 16 by 10 panel I mentioned, 165 hertz refresh rate, and, solid resolution beyond full HD, and you would want that because with this 4060 and its power limitations, or rather ceiling, you should be able to game at least in full HD with pretty much any title you want, and then even natively in a lot of instances. So that's something we'll find out as I test this. Battery life, I can't speak to it. I'm not expecting anything amazing, but who knows? Maybe that Ryzen 7 chipset, when we disable the RTX 4060, will actually give us some decent battery life, but that's something I'll determine as we go along. Speakers, of course, flanking the top of the deck. Ventilation all around. And cooling really has been a point of emphasis for Lenovo these days. I feel like they've gotten really good with those cooling systems. It's next level compared to what it had been previously. And I'm just adjusting this again because, I do see it's clipping the top there. That even bothers me. Move it forward a little bit. Still a little crooked, but at least we've got everything in frame. So, is, the Slim 5 something you're interested in? Is this the direction that you plan to go in? I generally lean towards the 7 series, but, again, the 5, whether you're going with the Slim or the regular Legion 5, always have been good options. They're just more affordable options, and that's exactly what this represents. And at a little over $1,500 right now, when this is on sale, presumably for a little over $1,000 or close to that price, let's figure $1,200 to $1,300, this machine is going to be a steal, I would assume, as long as it performs as expected. Because again, you're getting a high refresh 16-inch high resolution panel, you're getting solid build quality, a nice trackpad, overall just a nice looking machine. There's, cosmetically, I think nothing to take issue with here. And unfortunately, that's not something I can say about much of Lenovo's competition. I mean, these gaming machines historically tend to look, they're essentially hideous. Lenovo got that memo and really has been making all of their gaming machines really sharp. I mean, they are just as easily business machines, workstations these days, and that's inclusive of this. I see no reason why anyone wouldn't use this as a workstation and not just a gaming machine if it's going to meet the specifications that you personally need when it comes to CPU, GPU performance. Again, only 16 gigs of RAM in this build, but that's something you need to take into account when you're doing your shopping. But it'll be very interesting to see how this benchmarks. Stay tuned for all that information. Of course, updates and full review will be coming. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe and please stay safe. Later.